Shalom. I'm praying I can get this video out. It's been quite an interesting week. And I wanted to hopefully move closer so people can hear me in this mic. So I apologize if it goes in and out. And I've been doing some research. I hadn't heard of this person. One of my friends sent me an email to a link to watch what he was doing, watch a video presentation that he made. So I did, and I found it really helpful. Again, people may not always agree 100% with what everybody says, but I think everybody has a piece of a puzzle. And if you can just, have some humility and listen, maybe Abba might show some things. So, and I always said, just show me what you want me to do. And this is a picture, I love it. I'm in Jerusalem, and I'm coming, and then we are to be his menorahs, his lights in this world to shine. So, there's so much going on. So I'm going to get started in this. And I've posted this before in my videos before. Abba wanted me to do tables. And this again is from the Chronicle Project. And they restored the way, just a translation of Daniel 9:27. Because we know so many things were changed. And so people went back and did. And I really think this is neat because it confirms in just one layer of what Michael Rood in this video was talking about. And I'm just going to read it. 70. Therefore to break up your nation, to mount your people, and to mount city, to revere your toward all. So this is talking about, and we're going to look at paraphrased English. 70. Therefore shall break up your nation. They shall put upon your people, upon your revered city.
Israel shall begin to revolt against Rome, and toward the Israelites shall arise continuous atrocities by Rome. But again, this is in here. And it shall cover them with burden, and for the people it shall bring absolution for violations, and for a seal that shall come in the future, and therefore it shall bring, and is for the anointing of the inner sanctuary of the tabernacle. So it goes through and describes what this is in Babylon and Cyrus. Okay, goes through here. We're going to do paraphrase English again. Let's read through this. Therefore shall come first 70, 7 months of warfare, and 70,000 men, 60 in 2 years. And it goes through and it talks about the historical part of this has happened. Okay, so interesting. We're looking at layers here. We're looking at thousands of years of layers. And just because something happened one time doesn't mean it won't happen again. Think of the destruction of the temple on the 9th of Baab, both of them. It was again, one temple was destroyed and you have another temple destroyed. You have the concept of layers. So that's what really got me thinking about watching Michael Rood's video. So just, I'll let you go through and read that. And it's going to happen in Jerusalem. I don't know what, but, this standard of a Roman legion, they have tried to take Jerusalem for thousands of years. There's nothing new under the sun. 70. So I just wanted to get the concept, 70. So you go to Michael Rood, and he has a really interesting, the 70th week. And I wanted to show this because this is part of that. Daniel was shown 70, and then it's like Shavuos or Shavuot, 7 weeks. And when you count the 40, you're supposed to count 50 days, 7 weeks, and then a day. So
I'm going to link this, and I think it would be very interesting if you were to watch this video series, because it makes sense, and I think it will help. So what I'm going to do here is try to find that one page that I did. Oh, here it is. And he said it was really cool because it was layers.
77s, 7 sevens, 62 sevens. After 62 sevens,
there's 1 7, and in the midst of the 7. So that Daniel 9:24, when it says Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself, I mean, Yeshua fulfilled a very distinct time frame that he came in, and he was the one that was cut off in the middle of his week. I think he said there is a minister that, see, here's the ministry of Yeshua, him being cut off. I mean, it follows the same type of pattern. So when he's talking in the video about Yeshua being having a ministry of 70 weeks, and I thought that was really profound because I've never heard anybody talk about that. And he goes in, and a lot of people talk about 3.5 years. I don't know, but I think if he's following and fulfilling every single thing, that would make sense about Daniel's 70th week and him having a ministry of 490 days. Now, whether that's 360 day year, I'm not sure, but I mean, that's something to look into. So, wanted to look at this because Daniel 9:24 again, 70. So we're looking at these years. And he goes through, and I'll link this so you can read that. And go through and read the history, because history repeats itself, and it's going to repeat itself continually. I mean, that's what the whole concept of a cycle is with Yeshua. So, still shining here in this dark world. So, I wanted to show you this, because I was doing some thinking about this. So, here we have 1948, when Israel was birthed in a single day. As Isaiah declares, will a nation be born at once? And so he goes through and he reckons the time, okay? And then from 1948 all the way through to here. So it's talking about 70 years as one of several prophetic layers of the 70 Shavuot, prophecy of Daniel that was sealed to the time of the end. And I had a concept, what if this was an algorithm? This was a mathematical algorithm of patterns that would occur. So, again, when you have the concept of patterns, you start seeing them over and over and over again. So, and then he goes through, and we talked about that cut off. So, here would be the 63rd week. So, you have the years here, 63rd year, 64th year of the 70. So you start at 1 year at 1948 and you move forward, right? Hope that makes sense. So Israel on May 15th, 1948 became born in a day. So he goes through and he talks about the algorithm they put in place in 359, Hillel, borrowed from the Arab astronomers in Babylon when they changed the calendar. So he went back and he looked at this, and it was actually Sivan 6, which was the 49th counting of the Omer, and the next day was Shavuot. So that was May 15th, 1948. So you count forward and you go to the 63rd year, which is 2010. And I noticed this pattern. It's kind of interesting when you start seeing patterns and things. You also see patterns in people, and usually people that are operating in religious spirits, it rears its ugly head when there's something that doesn't want to be revealed. So I've been thinking about something, and with this last blood moon and things, and I started wondering about this, because I'm like, I remember there was some kind of lunar eclipse on the winter solstice, and it was 2010. On the winter solstice, there was this total lunar eclipse of the full moon. And it hadn't happened since 1638. So you have 2010 minus 1638, and that's 372 years. So here you have Hillel that changed the calendar in 359, and then you have this that happened 372 years ago. So the 300 part got me. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. This is the first time this has happened in 372 years. And he uses these as markers because he put them as signs. So what also happened in 2010 would be the Haitian earthquake, and then the Japan earthquake happened, I think, in 2011. So you've got some pretty significant events happening around this time frame. So I don't know, that's not a coincidence. So you go through 3.5 years here to 2014, which would have been Aviv or Nisan 2014. And what happened in 2014? Well, that was the first blood moon. And people are like, well, nothing happened on that. Oh, yes, it did. Sure did. So I compiled some articles together that I'd been thinking about for a while. You know, when this first happened and watching this, these are some from the News Republic, and you can see the highlights, NewYorker.com, takeaways from this peace deal that was done. I'm just going to highlight and go through and read some of the things that they did. Once you put that frame in your mind, that reality, which is bottom line, you understand how imperative it is to get to the two-state solution, which both leaders, even yesterday, said they remain deeply committed to. But he put his fist in a hornet's nest. That should have been perfectly visible to him. I want to focus on the peace process, Obama told Perez as they sat down. No one in the world understands it better than you. Everywhere I go in the world, people talk about it. The international community waited for the U.S. elections to be over, and then the elections in Israel. Now it's expecting us to lead an effort towards peace. I want to go for it. This is Mr. Oh No talking about this. By that time, it was becoming clear that a comprehensive peace treaty would be impossible before the talks' April 29th deadline. But Kerry had a backup plan. He would get both sides to accept a U.S. framework for negotiations, a document spelling out parameters on all core issues, then push for a full deal with a new deadline. So this person told her that he was with the Americans and would have to call back. The following morning, he sent her text messages. It's a done deal. We just handed the documents. So over the next 3 weeks, with April 29th approaching, Nick would meet 9 times with these people to salvage peace talks. He was determined to get everything in writing this time. No more misunderstandings. And by April 23rd, the sides seemed close to an extension agreement. Now remember, the blood moon was April 15th, 2014. Against all odds, Kerry had managed to strike 2 separate deals with Abbas and Netanyahu. The next day, the Israeli cabinet had voted to suspend the talks. John Kerry's peace process was over. So he had to have signed this framework. And there were 2 separate ones. So they didn't get to see the same one. There were 2 different documents that was signed. So they had to sign this framework sometime after April 1st, but before April 23rd, with the blood moon as the marker, which would have been the 15th. So maybe April 18th, I don't know. But it had to have been signed somewhere between that. Because it wasn't on April 25th. That's when John Kerry stuck his foot in his mouth at the Trilateral Commission when he said that he was risk turning into a apartheid state. So it's somehow they would have signed it within that time frame. So go through and they talk about that. They struck two separate deals. So there was something signed. And then here, Mr. Ono is talking about this. The next day at the White House, Ono tried his luck with the Palestinian leader. He reviewed the latest American proposals, some of which had been titled or tilted in Abbas's direction. The document would now state categorically that there would be a Palestinian capital in Jerusalem. This is what Mr. Ono says. Don't quibble with this detail or that detail. The occupation will end. You will get a Palestinian state. You will never have an administration as committed to that as this one. So they still, you have, I mean, this is unbelievable. So here, again, we're talking layers here. Something a confirm or needs to compel or force implies that there's something already in place. So you have the layer that he's talking about, and then this layer happening again. So again, it was launched June 3rd, 2016, launched in Paris. Here's the 30 officials meeting, like 30 pieces of silver. And it's referring back to this. The two sides met in April 2014. There's this Middle East monitor. And then to reaffirm their support, they reaffirmed that a negotiated two-state solution is the only way. So something happened, and then they're going back to the resolutions 242, 33. I already did this on one of my videos, so you can go back and look at that. So they reaffirmed this June 3rd, 2016. So what are the 70 going to do this time? So you've had this happening over a period of time, and just because it hadn't happened all at once, people you just don't think. You think there's nothing happening. But according to the first blood moon, which is Abba's signs and markers in the heavens, matching up with what he has done here, I mean, that's pretty right on. You can't make this stuff up like this. These are secular newspapers talking about this and what happened with this. So here you go. 2010 would be the 63rd week, which was marked by a full blood moon eclipse that no one really talks about on the winter equinox. And it goes through here. An abomination, I have to look at the language in here. What does desolation mean? It means destruction. Have they put the framework in place to try to destroy Jerusalem? Well, yeah. I mean, there's multiple levels of destruction. Not just a physical, but, national destruction. I mean, so all this stuff's been happening this whole entire time. And it's just a matter if we just keep watching this and stop looking for the sensational all the time. It's he's very systematic. He has these things put in place for a reason. So when you have Isaiah talking about right here, your covenant with death, which will be canceled. So that pact, the Oslo Peace Accords in 1993, and I had a video about that, and I saw the land, I heard and felt the land split. That happened back in 1993. And so 7 years came right to September 28th, 2000, when Ariel Sharon went up on the Temple Mount and read from the book of Ezekiel, and violence broke out. So that was completely fulfilled. That 7 years was fulfilled right then. So Tishri 1 to September 13th, Tishri 1 to September 28th, 2000 was a complete 7 years, and it was thrown down, annulled by violence, because the violence broke out. So, I mean, you have these amazing patterns of becoming fulfilled. So, go through those videos and watch that, because I find it extremely interesting. And it was very helpful to kind of put some kind of layers on this. So then Daniel, and he says in the video, he talks about Daniel was referring to Jeremiah. And I was reading this, and it seemed to be an absolute another layer. So then he's also talking, there's also 70 years that are completed and I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, declares Yehova, for their iniquity in the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make it an everlasting desolation. That's destruction. So not only you have 70 years going on one aspect, the 70 years of Babylon is getting ready to be, destroyed. Because if you look at that, 70 years takes it right here where we're at in 2017. That's going to be the 70th year. Just let that sink in for a minute. I mean, pretty much, you have Revelation, Babylon, daughter of Babylon, and he says he's going to overthrow them like Sodom and Gomorrah. Woe to you, O destroyer. These are all the cross references for that. Who do we know the destroyers? Well, you were not destroyed, and he was treacherous, while others did not deal treacherously with him. As soon as you finish destroying, you will be destroyed. As soon as you cease to deal treacherously, others will deal treacherously with you. Look at this. O daughter of Babylon, you devastated one, how blessed will be the one who repays you with the recompense with which you have repaid us. So, this other part of the 70th year, again, we have layers of 70s going on here. And I think that makes a little bit more sense as to where we're at. And in the years 2910, also in Jeremiah, because I was also trying to refer on this too. For thus says Yehova, when 70 years have been completed for Babylon, I will visit you. This is the good news. And fulfill my good word to you, to bring you back to this place. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares Jehovah. Plans for welfare, not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. So this is talking about the hope of this. So even in the midst of that destruction, there was also hope, because he's going to return his people. And he's going to restore them. And he's going, for he has sent us in Babylon, saying, the exile will be long. Build houses and live in them, and plant gardens and eat their produce. So not everybody's back yet. And the desolation, so the abomination will be in desolation. I mean, oh my gosh. And here's 2 Chronicles, to fulfill the word of Yehova by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed its Sabbath. All the days of its desolation, it kept Sabbath until 70 years were complete. So here we have again coming up on the 70th year, which would be here. And we marked the blood moons that started here, 14 and 15. And all this was happening at the same time. Here's the 69th year, and again, the 70th year will be in 2017 with all the other signs, which there is also a solar eclipse for the United States in August, and that's, he said, the moon or the sun will be turned to darkness. So this would be the first solar eclipse across the entire United States. You can look that up, and I forget how many years, but literally it divides the United States right in half. I mean, so he's using the signs, and if you just look, not for the sensational, but for the things that he set in motion, things will start making sense. And then we're going to go to Daniel 10:14, because this is kind of interesting. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia was withstanding 21 days. And you know how it, he talks about Michael, and one of his chief princes came to help Daniel. Now I have come to give you an understanding of what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision pertains to the days yet future. So, I think that's really interesting, for there is a vision for the days. I like the way that says that, because it doesn't mean that just one thing. Vision for the days is a cycle. We're going through cycles. It's a circuit. So it could happen circuit after circuit after circuit. So, and he said, and knowledge will increase. So we're looking at this. So now I wanted to show a table that I did for France, and then a conference. And so I went through here, and that was, some came up. And so I just wanted to look at the verse first. So it is better to take refuge in Yehova than to put confidence in princes. All nations surround me, but in the name of Yehova I will cut them off. They surround me, indeed they surround me, but in the name of Yehova I will cut them off, cut them down. They surround me like bees. They are quenched like a fire of thorns. For in the name of Yehova I will cut them off. Did you see the bees? Because look at the article that they had. This was back in 2014, and he put his fist in a hornet's nest that should have been perfectly visible. And this is the language they used. And here, France is coming up in this Psalms chapter 118. He's got us. The voice of rejoicing and salvation is in the tents of the righteous. Righteous means to stay on the path. That's the ancient Hebrew word for righteous. Wicked means to go off the path. So if you are on his path, keeping his commandments that he's asked you to, you're not going into sun worship. The right hand of the Lord is exalted. The right hand of the Lord does bravely. I shall not die, but live, and declare the works of Jehovah. The Lord has chastised me severely, and he's not given me over to death. Open to me the gates of righteousness, and I will go into them, and will praise Jehovah. This is the gate of the Lord into which the righteous shall enter, and I will give you thanks, for you have answered me, and you have become my Yeshua. He's the stone that everyone's rejected. And he's become the head stone of the corner. This is Jehovah's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. So this came up in Psalms. I was hoping I could get through it without crying. So we'll just pull this up and just kind of see what's there. Okay, maybe it won't let me. I don't know. Here we go. So Psalms, and so this is the word it came up. And so you saw France, and let me show you what the other word is. Oh yeah, conference. Assembly conference. So what happened is I looked at some of the other tables, and then I just I build layers and see what would come up, if the same terms would come up with different things, and it did. So I'll just let you see that. Oh my goodness, okay. Well, okay, I'll try this again. Maybe it doesn't want me to do that, I don't know. Or maybe it will. Let's try this. Oh my goodness, okay. Try this again. don't know what the will. It's totally doing something on its own here. It's not me. Okay. Where this came up. Okay, so fortress. Wow. Enough. These are the words that's coming up. Elimination, extraction, rescue, sewer. And that's funny because Oslo, he was saying, Michael Rood was saying that Oslo means toilet seat in modern Hebrew. So I don't know, but I'm like, wow. So we're going to just mark this, see if it'll mark. Incisor. Yeah, so I'm just going to do this and we'll look through some other terms and see, or other things and see if that comes up. So you've already seen, can come up here, so let's see if that's here's the Bible. Okay, so again, we're just going to see what happens here. So 262, so that would be Resh, and then 60. So that would be, right, Sonic, and then 2, but then we'll do, of course, Moon. It came up in the other table. And then, of course, I transpose numbers all the time, so I'll do it the other way. Again, it's really, here it is, stronghold, fortress, enough, rescue. All that is his land. He gave from the river Euphrates to the great river in Egypt. The land belongs to him, and he gave it to his people Israel. And he is going to defend his people. There may be some bumpy things we're going to see. I don't know how things are going to happen. I don't think anybody really knows, because who would have thought we'd be here right now? I mean, you've heard so many people talk about different things. And I just wanted to show the patterns that I found. And it kind of makes sense. It flows really well. I mean, he's not one to hide things and make them very difficult. But you do have to humble yourself and say, you know what, I don't know what's happening. What do you want? And what do you want me to do? Show me what you want me to do, because I don't know. I just keep saying yes to him. Just help me walk with you and be ready. And he's coming. And we're supposed to shine like lights. And, and it'd be really something if Yeshua's ministry really was 70 weeks. I mean, that would make so much sense. I'm still tracking and trying to look at the patterns in the scripture and put them together. I just got my new Aramaic English New Testament by Roth. It's amazing. I really enjoy reading that. And he has got this in his hands, and he is going to come when he's ready. And it looks like something's coming. He is coming, and he's going to rule and reign. And we may be closer than we think. And, there might be a time of the great trouble, but then there's light on the other side. So return to him. Come out of Babylon all the way. Come out of Rome's worship. Seek him with all your heart while he may be found. Don't listen to pastors or rabbis. If you need to, just absolutely go to the Father and ask him, show me what part of this is correct, show me what's not correct, and he will. You have to trust him. Keep looking up. Our redemption is drawing nigh.